Middle row. Okay, so I thought it best to demonstrate this middle row, perhaps by setting up a small patch just to explain what's going on here. First of all, I won't be using it this time, but we have a a MIDI to or USB to CV and gate, which I got second hand, so that was came in under my threshold. The pure quantizer is made by GMSN, and I bought that new. I think that, again, that managed to just creep in under my spending threshold. Then I had these two Baby 8 sequencers here. These were both built from kits from Era Instruments web page. So they're quite simple circuits, although they are built with all the extra controls you need, like individual gate outs and resets and so on and so forth, and a scale on the output, which is quite nice. Not using it in this patch. I have just a passive attenuator here, just a knob in between an input and output jack. You'll see dope for dual sample and hold. Here's the LFO that I purchased just recently, which is very odd in the sense that you have 3 LFOs and each one has a different frequency range. And the other thing which is a little bit not so good with it is the on the square wave, that the square wave isn't constant at either extreme of the voltage, in the sense that when you're on the, say, like the high voltage end of the square wave, the actual pitch continues to rise or fall a little bit. So it's not a true square wave, which is a bit of a shame for an LFO, but it's useful to have it for a triangle wave duties. There's a distortion wave shape here, which I'm not using in this patch. There's a dope for LFO, which I'm just basically using to modulate a filter that we'll have a look at in a minute. And then we've got a passive mult here, another envelope generator, which again I'm not using in this patch. And at the end I have the thing which I actually did a separate video about the other day, which is just a passive crossfader. So now what will happen is I vary the crossfader, it will vary between the voltages coming out of either sequencer. Quite a nice effect, and as I say, I did do a separate video just highlighting that effect. Okay, so I've just patched up things slightly differently here just to demonstrate a few of the other modules we have here on this middle row. So I'm basically taking just your sequencer out into the quantizer, just so it turns it into proper notes rather than random voltages. That's feeding the CV of the VCO, but then I'm taking the triangle wave of the VCO out and I'm putting it into this distortion wave shaper here, which is actually a unit I really like, because it gives you a lot more flexibility out of, you know, your standard oscillators. And then the output from that is just going through the VCA, and the VCA is being triggered by the envelope generator, which is also being triggered by the sequencer. If we just plug that back into here, you can see we change these controls. So you get some quite nice variety on something as simple as a triangle wave, which is normally a relatively uninteresting waveform in many respects. So let's take a LFO and put that into one of these. you know, some quite interesting variations. Okay.